This is why I say the mainstream media is cooked beyond belief. And I'm going to give you an example, a small example right here. And I'm going to leave a link to the article in the description box. I just want to tap onto this right quick. Trump must float idea of $5,000 dividend checks. Here's what experts say. And this is an old article. This article was back on February 12th of this year, a couple weeks ago. Check out how they started off as the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. See, first sentence right there shows you what way the person that wrote the article, as well as CNBC, the direction they're leaning in and how they want to persuade you into that same direction. They can't even barely get the first sentence out of their mouths without trashing what Elon Musk and Doge is trying to do, which is well overdue. Eventually, it had to be addressed. You can't just go on spending with no plan in sight, going way above your means and just ignoring it the whole time. It doesn't even work that way in your personal life. When you're dealing with your personal affairs, when you overspend and you ignore the fact that you're overspending and doing it, what eventually happens in that situation? Everything falls apart. So if that happens to you as an individual in your personal life, why wouldn't the same effect happen to a country? That's overall, countries are businesses anyway. So even businesses, local businesses, entrepreneurs, if you do something that's detrimental to your company's well-being and not good for it at all, and you decide, well, I'm gonna just keep kicking the can down the road and just let the chips fall where they may, what will happen to that business eventually on a smaller scale? It'll be out of business. So America on a grand scale being a business itself, the country is a business itself. It wouldn't be able to sustain itself going down the road that the Democrats wanted it to go down. That's just common sense. Looks to cut federal spending. Elon Musk and President Donald Trump have floated the idea. Another thing, you notice how when they're talking about the budget and Doge and all that, they purposely put Elon Musk's name first. They always mention him first, then they mention Trump second, and they do this on purpose. It's like a mental mind game. And people who can very easily be influenced by propaganda and a narrative, float any kind of narrative in front of certain people, and you can brainwash them very, very easily. You can even turn them into extremists. But on the left, if you're an extremist, you're called a concerned citizen, standing up for your rights against the evil Donald Trump and Elon Musk. But experts say it's too soon to say whether such checks could materialize, and caution that if they did, there could be economic consequences for consumers. Both Musk and Trump boasted a proposal that James Fishback, CEO of investment firm Aria, posted February 18th on social media platform X that suggested sending millions of American households checks. Americans sent their hard-earned tax dollars to Washington, D.C., Fishback told CNBC.com. He said he believes some of those tax dollars were wasted. A lot more than some. There needs to be restitution to correct that, Fishback said. And what's crazy is just recently, Jasmine Crockett said that Americans don't need $5,000. What is $5,000 going to do for you? Mind you, her base salary, her normal salary is $174,000 a year. And with a year, her net worth is $9 million now. So obviously the little bubble she swims in can't comprehend why regular Americans, everyday people, would greatly benefit from that $5,000. But the so-called party for the people, of which that's what the Democrats used to position themselves as and front like that's what they're doing, only to be the ones behind closed doors really serving the billionaires. But they gaslight you and looking the other way, because if you look at them too long and you start paying attention to them too much, certain things will slip through the cracks, and then you'll see like, holy shit, I've been wasting my votes on these chumps this whole time. Just throwing my votes away for the Democratic Party. Maybe I need to reevaluate why I voted for them to begin with. they don't want you to think that. They don't want you to be big brain Brainington. All of a sudden, you thinking for yourself. No, that means no more juice in the swamp in their favor, loading up their bank accounts and their assets at taxpayers' expense. Funds at the U.S. Agency of International Development, including $1.5 million to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces, and $70,000 for a DEI musical in Ireland. See, this is what boggles my mind. Why? And you have a lot of people in this country who don't see anything wrong with this. $70,000 for DEI musical in Ireland. Why couldn't that come out of the pockets of the Ireland government? Why are we paying for that? $1.5 million to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces. That's none of our business. Those people that don't like it there need to get up and move out of Serbia if it's that bad for you. If you feel you're being mistreated because of how you look or where you came from, maybe you should start mapping out a plan to move out of Serbia. But that's not the responsibility of the United States. We shouldn't be sending more money over there for that. Under Trump, Doge, and Uri Group set to aim to cut $2 trillion in federal spending. However, Musk said in a recent interview that Target may be the best case outcome, and there may be a good shot of cutting half that amount. I'm sure it will be. It's finally trimming the fat that was just hanging off the carcass of the United States, because the United States was rotting from the inside out. No wonder there's so much homelessness. And I'm not just talking about homelessness of, people that abuse alcohol or abuse drugs or stuff like that. People that have mental illnesses that, they don't know whether they're coming or going. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about able-bodied, able-minded Americans out here are homeless. No wonder there's so many, because so much waste on other countries, and these funds could start programs and, paid training programs to where people can get additional skills and they won't be homeless. So you get those people off the street, there's less of a strain on homelessness. We got all this land and all this property around the United States, but we want to waste money on DEI programs in other countries and stuff like that. It's none of our business. In this proposal, Fishback starts from a presumption that Doge will achieve $2 trillion in cuts to the government by taking 20% off that total savings, or around $400 billion. That may leave room for around 79 million tax-paying households to each receive a $5,000 tax refund per Fishback's plan. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link to this article in the description box. You guys can let me know what you think about that. And I just want to close out. My bad, I'm doing a lot of fiddling right now. But, it's a shame this is what it's come to in this country. And it really is. And I, for one, I'm hoping one day that the masses choose to come to their senses. They're pointing to Elon Musk and Donald Trump as the enemy, when they're not. The enemy is who you've been voting for all these years, for decades and decades. The mainstream media has been the enemy of the people for the longest of time, and they still are. Very much so. This is why I say the mainstream media is cooked. They can't even do articles from an objective point of view, from an objective angle, without trying to influence you one way or another. And I, for one, am tired of it. I've been tired of it for the longest of time. And I'm sure a lot of you out there feel the same. So that being said, keep your head on right. Keep pushing. Don't allow the liberal left-wing media to coerce you into thinking something that's not even true. That being said, this is Gen X Media 7. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This transmission is over.